question number 127. This is related to transportation sector exemption. A Limited collected following sums exclusive of taxes for the month ending April 2021 towards transportation of passengers. Determine taxable value and GST taking maximum benefits available under law and ignoring ITC. Transportation of passengers on vessel from Chennai to Port Blair. So this transportation of passengers by vessel between places in India. So for transportation of passengers by vessel, we have two classification. First, so inland waters or coastal waters, okay, and again domestic transportation or international. So that point I am just explaining to you. So transportation of passengers by vessel. Transportation of passengers by vessel. So this transportation of passengers by vessel divided into two, that is inland waters and coastal waters. Inland waters and coastal waters. So inland waters means what? So rivers. Coastal waters means seaways. Inland waters is always exempted. Coastal waters again divided into two, between places in India or otherwise. So okay, so here coastal waters, for what purpose? Is it for between places in India or otherwise? We need to classify. Between places in India, between places in India or otherwise. Okay, otherwise means what? Otherwise means India to outside India or outside India to India. So that will be always taxable here. That will be always taxable. Otherwise always taxable. Then again, between places in India, we will further divide it into two. So what is that? So that is tourism purpose predominantly. Tourism purpose predominantly. Okay. Predominantly if it is tourism purpose, then it will be again taxable. Suppose if it is for public transportation, so then it will be coming under exemption. Okay, if it is for public transportation, then it will be exempted. Okay, so now this is the chart that we need to understand here. So now what happens is this: transportation of passengers from Chennai to Port Blair. So between places in India. So they did not give anything for tourism. So which means that it is for public transportation and therefore it is exempted. Transportation of passengers by vessel from Chennai to Dubai. So other cases it will be taxable. So we don't have any exemption related to that. Transportation of passengers by vessel from Dubai to Chennai. So therefore this will also be taxable. That service will be taxable. But check whether A Limited will pay GST. In case of transportation of passenger service, so the place of supply will be ending. The place of supply will be taken as starting point of the passenger. So in the case of second, so what is the starting point of the passenger? Chennai. Supplier is located in India and place of supply India, so definitely it will be taxable. Whereas the second case, supplier is located in India and recipient is located in India, but the place of supply is in Dubai, starting point. So but we will not take this as any export of service, etc. So liability is on A Limited, because in order to become zero rated supply export of services, 5 conditions should be satisfied. Supplier should be in India, recipient should be outside India, and place of supply should be outside India. Consideration should be in convertible foreign exchange. Supplier and recipient are not two establishments of the same person. 5 conditions: supplier in India, recipient outside India, place of supply outside India, supplier and recipient are not two establishments of the same person. Consideration is in convertible foreign exchange. In case of services to Nepal and Bhutan, it can be in Indian rupees. Okay, so therefore in this case it is not an export of service, it will be taxable. So on that 50 and 40, so we need to pay GST, but here it is given as zero rated supply under the assumption that, so passenger, because we don't have the information related to the passenger. where the passenger is located. So if the passengers are taken to be outside India, so then it will become zero rated supply. Okay. So but alternative answer is taxable. So GST payable. But if you assume that the passenger is located outside India, then it will become zero rated supply. But this zero rated supply is not conclusive. So we have an alternative answer. So that is, it will be taxable 18% and GST payable. Okay, that is also an answer. So here it is with what assumption? With the assumption that passenger located outside India. Passenger located outside India because of that reason. Okay. Then next one is transportation of passengers through cruise ships. We don't have any exemption related to this. So transportation of passengers through cruise ships. So here, so won't it come under inland waters, sir? No, inland waters will not come, because when they use the word ship, ship means automatically coastal waters. So tourism purpose. So due to that reason, it will be made as taxable. Transportation through national waterways, that is inland waterways, which is exempted. Then metro transport of passengers. So transportation of passengers by railways. In case of transportation of passengers by railways, we have two classifications. That is AC, any AC coach or any first class will be taxable. All others are exempted. However, metro, mono and tramway, let it be AC, non-AC or first class or any class, it will always be exempted. What? Metro, mono and tramway. So therefore in that case, metro, mono and tramway exempted. Transportation of passengers by stage carriage. Transportation of passengers by stage carriage divided into two. AC, non-AC. AC will be taxable, non-AC exempted. Here it was what? In 40% cases it was AC stage carriage. Means out of the 10, so 4 will be taxable. So the remaining will be exempted. Only 4 will be taxable. Okay. Other case it will be exempted. Then next, transportation of passengers by non-AC contract carriage. What is the difference between stage carriage and a contract carriage? Stage carriage is, it's like every stage of the journey, the vehicle will stop. That is known as stage carriage. On the contrary, contract carriage is point to point travel. It starts at a place and it ends at a place. So that is point to point travel, or when you take the carriage on hire, so then also it will be coming under contract carriage. So now in this case, so contract carriage, AC, non-AC, we need to check. AC will always be taxable. Non-AC given on hire or for tourism purpose will be taxable. Public transport exempted. Now see this. Transportation of passengers by non-AC for non-tourist purpose means public transportation. Therefore, it is exempted. Then, transportation of passengers by AC. AC contract carriage, don't say anything. It will always be taxable. Okay. Then, transportation of passengers by non-AC contract carriage for tourism purpose. So, that will also be taxable. Even though it is non-AC, but it will be taxable. Okay. Why? Because it is for tourism purpose due to that reason. Then transportation of passengers by ropeway, we don't have anything. So transportation of passengers by ropeway, we don't have any exemption. So which means that it will be taxable. Ropeway, cable car will be coming under taxable. But tramway is exempted. Then transportation of passengers in radio taxi, we don't have any exemption, that will be taxable. Transportation of passengers through metered cabs and e-rickshaws exempted. So we have exemption with respect to meter cabs and auto rickshaws. So that is last one is exempted. All other cases it will be taxable. So this is with respect to this here. Okay. Then, so here, if the people are transported through e-commerce operator, that is auto, Ola Auto or Uber Auto, right now it is exempted. Okay, so but for November 22 exam, it will be taxable. For May 22 exam, it is exempted. For November 22 exam, it will become taxable. So the exemption available got withdrawn. Okay.